Hello, everyone. Welcome to the John Gomez Show. I'm your host, John Gomez, and my guest today is Australian actress Angelique Cassimatis. Hi, Angelique. Hi.
Hello. Hello, it's so lovely to
Yes.
meet you. Thank you for chatting with me this afternoon.
Yes. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners, Angelique?
Hello, everyone. My name is Angelique Cassimatis. I'm an Australian musical theatre performer, and I've just recently finished up a little stint playing Miss Argentina in the Australian production of Beetlejuice.
Here is the first question. Who encouraged you
Okay.
to become? Who encouraged you to become an theater actress and dancer? Who encouraged you? And who is your inspiration to become like?
Oh, look, I had some pretty amazing parents. My mum was not allowed to do anything to do with arts growing up. Being from a traditional Greek family, she was very artsy, very crafty. She sewed all of my costumes growing up. So my mum encouraged me a lot. She put me into dancing quite at an early age. So my mum, and then I've had some pretty amazing teachers that I've met along the way that keep inspiring me to keep performing. But I would say my current inspirations in Australia are a wonderful performer called Caroline O'Connor and an amazing another triple threat called Kelly Abbey. And they would be my two inspirations.
What is the first professional musical theater production did you do?
The first professional musical theatre show I ever did, I was an orphan in the professional production of Annie when it came to Brisbane, my hometown, many, many years ago. And then as an adult, I got to be in the Australian premiere of High School Musical live on stage. That didn't last very long, but I met some lifelong friends on that job.
Yes. Also, you also do Mary Poppins. One of their cast there are one of my guests too. Sarah Baker will play as the understudy and cover for Mary Poppins. Matt Lee will play as Bert, and recently Monica Swain who also understudy Mary Poppins too. Yes. What is
She did.
experience
We were in the
doing?
same cast. Yes.
Yes. What is experience doing Mary Poppins? Also, you tour New Zealand also.
We did. It was a pretty magical time. We got to I did that show for 2.5 years because I booked another job, but it wasn't starting for a whole year. So I stayed with that show. I made some amazing friends on that show. I got to work with Matt Lee. I got to work with a wonderful woman called Verity Hunt Bellard. I got to work with an awesome idol, Simon Burke, who was my favorite on an Australian TV show called Play School. It was wonderful. It was the first sort of show I'd ever been a part of that was quite big and had such a big a lot of energy and excitement behind it. So I was very grateful to be a part of that and to get to take that show to New Zealand. Not many shows are able to do that anymore just because the travel and the cost of getting the show over there is so expensive. So I had a ball, A, getting to perform every night with amazing people, but B, getting to travel all around Australia and then being able to perform in New Zealand at the Civic Theatre over there was in Auckland was the cherry on the top, really. I was very, very lucky.
Also, you did the King Kong the
Oh,
musical too with Esther Hannah Ford.
oh my gosh,
Uh,
you know
what is your
everything.
experience? Yes, I made the search. What is the experience uh, doing in the
King
King Kong
Kong.
musical with Esther Hannah Ford?
Esther is an
What the,
incredible performer. Esther is amazing. She is a very, very special performer. I saw her in Hairspray, the version of Hairspray where she was Penny, and I was like, "Who is that person? She's amazing." And then getting to work with her on King Kong, it was such a big, uh, I want to say a big spectacle of a show. The technical aspects of that show were insane. I got to understudy her, and I got to work with the big giant gorilla himself, King Kong, and it was a lot of hard work and a lot of rehearsal. I don't know if we nailed it, but I definitely know they nailed the construction and the creation of King Kong himself. He was pretty incredible to watch and see how they created him and how um, human-like or realistic they could make that character. It was spectacular watching what they did with that.
Uh, you also did a musical called Pippin. Can you tell about experience on doing that? Pippin the musical.
Pippin! Yes, Pippin the musical was the first show to come back to perform in Australia after COVID and after everything had shut down for a year and a bit. It was pretty amazing. I mean, we got to perform, rehearse on the theatre stage with everything already set up because there was nothing in the theatre. So we got to perform, rehearse on the stage, and the with everything that we were going to perform with as we started. I got to learn. I covered the leading player, and I covered another character called Bertha, and I got to learn the trapeze. I got to learn some magic tricks, which I've never done before. I never thought I would get to do that. I've always wanted to learn the trapeze or something like that, but I was very grateful I got to do it with that show. And it's not a Fosse original show, but I got to learn some amazing choreography from the choreographer called Chet Walker, and his associate came over, and it was just pretty fantastic to work 2 degrees of separation from someone who worked with the master himself, Bob Fosse. So it was pretty amazing.
Yes. Recently, you did Beetlejuice playing as Miss Argentina, and I think that musical travel outside Australia in Abu Dhabi, I think in the UAE, and also that show was closed earlier, and many people were shocked when they saw it. What is your experience doing Beetlejuice, and what is your reaction when the show was closing earlier, which made many fans of that musical was shocked when they saw?
Beetlejuice was the most recent show I was a part of, and I got to play the amazing role, the tiny little role, but she's very amazing firecracker of a role, Miss Argentina, and she gets a little number in Act 2 called What I Know Now. It was incredible being a part of that show. I had a little bit of a taste of like fandom or feeling how people love a show when I did a version of Rocky Horror a few years ago, and the fans on that were amazing, but nothing compared to what I experienced on Beetlejuice. This show just really touched so many people and was so important to so many people. And I think it was a very important show to A, be a part of, and B, get to actually bring onto a main stage in Australia, because the lead character is not a princess, not perfect at all. She is kooky and different and very strange and unusual. And the other lead opposite her is a horrible, bizarre, kooky demon from the underworld. And I just loved that juxtaposition of the 2 main leads being very, very different. It tackled a really great genre or not genre. It tackled the way people deal with grief so beautifully. It also talked about how families can look completely different, and you don't have to have, a picture perfect family. It's all about as long as you have that love and that support, it doesn't matter what it looks like, which I I loved, and it was just so different compared to any other sort of story I'd ever been a part of. It was so sad that we didn't get to do the rest of our Australian tour, but I was so grateful that I got to do it in my hometown, which is Brisbane, Queensland, and the fans there were insane. And obviously when the news came that we unfortunately couldn't continue, everyone was very devastated, probably a little bit more so than us, which was wild, but also very touching, because being a part of a show that, you know, is loved by so many people, and to get to perform it with the cast of people that are just so spectacular and so wonderfully cast and just so at the top of their game, was an absolute honor. And I can't believe I got to be a part of that world for a very short amount of time. Very grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, like many news about the arts in Australia. Many people are calling the government to fund the arts, which is the best thing to do because the government must support the arts. So the arts, so many musicals can continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. We will see. We will see what happens. I think. I
Yeah.
think there's a long way to go there, but at least some conversations are being had, which hopefully in the future will make things a little bit easier for shows, specifically big shows like big news shows like Beetlejuice, to continue and hopefully have a bigger life. It's wonderful that there are still shows touring around Australia, but a lot of those shows are quite a number of years older now, and it's tricky to explain to the members of the general public that to put on a big show like Beetlejuice, it costs probably twice as more as what the shows are that are traveling around at the minute, because it's newer technology. The special effects are way more modern. Everything just costs a little bit more in a big production show like that. But hopefully, after a little bit of a hiatus, or a little bit of everyone just being a little bit more careful about what they produce and how they tour their shows, hopefully either the government steps in or some sort of subsidy comes in place that helps shows continue on or have a life, and they don't just have to rely so heavily on ticket sales. But look, people finding it hard at the minute. It's like, do we buy groceries or do we go see a show? I mean, I would say go see a show, but that's just me. But it's tricky right now. But it's not forever. It's just for a time, and we just have to figure out how to band together, get through it, and keep inspiring people to tell stories and not just let this genre of art fade away.
Yeah. As a musical theater actor or an actress, one of the greatest thing is to get many supports, mostly from your community, because I read a news from a Greek Australian newspaper last 2010, I think, that when you do the Mary Poppins, the Greek Australian community fully supports you playing there as part of that musical. What is your feeling seeing your fellow Greek Australia community fully supports you when you're doing Mary Poppins? What is your feeling?
It's pretty. It makes me pretty proud, quite proud that a group of people that or a community of people that I'm connected to are very interested in knowing what I'm doing. And I guess everyone's very proud, like when they see someone from their culture doing something very odd or different, or succeeding in something that's quite tricky and not the most what's the right word, normal sort of a job description, and they are succeeding, and it's makes me happy that they are proud.
Yes, that's really really nice when you see communities supporting you. Also, aside from doing musical theater, you also do many dance class. Uh, uh, Can you tell us about that, about doing dance class? Do you have many upcoming dance class that is coming next day or next week or next month?
Yes. I as well as performing in musical theatre, I teach quite a lot. I teach a lot of dance. I teach jazz and I teach musical theatre, which is basically any kind of dance that you would see in a theatre show. At the minute, I am in my hometown of Brisbane. I'm just teaching as much as I can, and then next week I head back home, back to reality, go and back to Sydney, and I have a couple of classes coming up there. One's at this fantastic space called Collab Studios, and it's at the end of the month. And I'm really excited every time I get to teach there. It inspires me. We have such incredible dancers in Australia, and I always love getting to meet new people and share and dance it out, especially when bizarre things like losing your job happen. It's always good to get into the studio and keep training or dance it out, dance out your feelings, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Also, aside uh, from from doing many musicals and teaching dance, do you like to travel? Like, do you travel to many countries, like performing in other countries? Because you perform Beetlejuice in the Abu Dhabi. Do you visit travel to other countries? To what favorite countries do you travel?
Yes, I have been very fortunate to uh, perform in a few different countries. I had the amazing opportunity of doing a thing called Velvet, a show called Velvet in Hamburg a few years ago, and it's a disco circus, and that was awesome. And I got to stay in Hamburg for a big chunk of time, and
Yeah,
living
that's
in Europe
amazing.
and Germany was amazing. And then most recently, I got the opportunity of doing Beetlejuice in Abu Dhabi, which was wild. And bizarre. I never thought I would get to perform in Abu Dhabi, especially a musical in Abu Dhabi. And that was pretty insane as well. And it was like a fantastic working holiday getting to explore this new amazing city, and then do Beetlejuice at night. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I see you. I see you in on a post from a school in Queensland named Dynamite Studio. You are teaching there. You know that school is amazing. I see their videos. Many of their students got many contracts from cruise ships and some shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your experience teaching there on that school, Dynamite Studios?
Oh, well, I teach a couple of places in Queensland. I teach at the Queensland. I've popped into the Queensland Academy of Musical Theatre. I think that's what it's called. And I taught the students who are studying musical theatre there, which is wonderful, and they're extremely talented. I taught some students for the first time at a studio called Dynamite on the Gold Coast, and they're pretty amazing students. I got to pop into this wonderful course called the Sunday Sessions, which is run by my very good friend Bodhi, and getting to work with students, or not students, but like adults who are at the top of their game, is very, very, very exciting. And also, majority of those students are either hoping to take up dance as a profession or musical theatre as a profession, and it's just wonderful to nerd out and talk about all things musicals and dance with those people, like-minded people. It's really, really fun. I'm very grateful.
Yes. Um, Also, you have a classmate on the musical, the high school musical that I know. She appeared on High Five as a voice actress there. Natalie Duarte in High Five. She voiced the uh, chats on High Five. Yeah.
She
Do you
she
know her,
did.
Natalie Duarte?
I do know Natalie Duarte. I actually did High School Musical with her, and then I met my actual on Beetlejuice. I actually met the original girl who voiced Chats or Jub Jub. I can't remember
Yes,
what's
Noni
her name.
McCallum.
Noni McCallum, and I got to sit
Yes,
next to her every day. So I've met both of the performers behind that character. And Noni is wonderful. She's an incredible actress, can sing, can
yes.
dance, extremely funny. But yes, I've met both people who have voiced that character. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Because when I was a child, I watched that TV show High Five on my
Yes.
TV. Yes, it is popular in Southeast Asia, in Singapore, the Philippines. It is popular. They
Oh,
also High Five also tour Singapore last. I think they tour Singapore for with. I remember the cast with Nathan Foley. They tour Singapore last 2007 in Asiw. Because yes, Noni McCallum was there. Before the show
yes.
was start, Noni is introducing the show. Yes. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. What is experience working with other actors? Not only Noni, but many popular theater actors. Do you know many theater actors and actors in Australia like Christy Whelan Brown, Emily Palmer, Stephen Mai,
I haven't
Zoe
worked with Christy
Gertz?
Whelan Brown. I've worked with Amy La Palmer. We did the Rocky Horror Picture Show together. And what else have I done with Amy? I can't remember. Stephen May, I did the Rocky Horror Picture Show and I did a version of Saturday Night Fever with him. He's lovely. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I've been very lucky to meet some lovely, lovely people. I mean, it's very tricky to get a job in Australia, and then to get to also have the opportunity of working with great people. It's yeah, I've been very lucky. I haven't met many people that I don't get along with. So that's pretty lucky. I guess that's
Yeah.
a compliment to the people that cast the shows as well. They choose some pretty great people to
Yeah.
be in their productions.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question for you because one of my guests and your fellow castmate in Mary Poppins, Monica Swain, she on her early early theater career, she do in Australia but moved to London in the
London.
West End. If you have a chance to go to the West End or Broadway, what will you choose? Win or perform in the West End or in the Broadway or performing in the three countries or both Australia or West End? If you got a chance.
If I got a chance, I would love to. It's very tricky because you need all the paperwork and the forms and the visas and the green cards. But I think if you ask that question to anyone, any performer, especially if they were offered the opportunity of going over there with a job, I mean that's the dream. They would absolutely say yes. It is tricky. It's tricky going over there, starting at the bottom, but it's also very exciting and something I'd like to try one day. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what's around the corner? But yes, that would be a huge dream, performing on the West End or on Broadway, in the West End or on Broadway. Sorry, wrong one.
Yeah. Yeah, because there are many Australian actors who get in Broadway or West End, like one of my guests, Monica Swain, who did in West End. She did Aladdin, Frozen, and Evita Der, and also Ainsley
Yes,
Melham, who are also in the hype of Ainsley Melham. She is in the Broadway right now, and Matthew Lee
yes,
Robinson.
yes.
Yes,
You know
he is a
all the
composer there.
Australian performers. Oh my gosh.
Yes, because there are many Australian production touring in in my country, the Philippines. Like in
Yes.
2014, the production of Wicked featuring Gemma Wicks and Susie Matters. They performed I watched that show, the Wicked show in Manila. Uh, I I saw Gemma Wicks as Elphaba. She is really amazing when she is singing "Defying Gravity."
She is amazing. What a
Yeah.
voice.
Yes, great voice. Yes, I really, really like her voice. Uh, Also, here is the last question because we don't have a time. We are in the 25 minutes now. What
Fantastic.
is yes? What is your advice to those people who wants to become a theater actress and dancer like you? Can you give them a little advice?
Oh my gosh, that's such a tricky question. I I would say if you can, I mean, actually, the internet's pretty great. I would say probably nerd out and try and see as much as you can. I know it's tricky if you're overseas, but London and I think Broadway sometimes they do professional recordings of their musicals. Not all of them. I'm not saying go and look at them on the bootlegs. I'm saying you can sign up to their like an actual streaming site, and you can geek out and watch all these amazing theatre shows and professional professional recordings of musicals. Also, um, just read books about people that you might like. There's like what's wonderful as well, audiobooks sometimes if you read a biography of someone, they actually usually, if they're still alive, have them read their autobiography. Like my most favorite that I've listened to over the last few years is the Cheetah Rivera autobiography, and she narrates it, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and I've suggested it to a few different friends along the way. I guess nerd out, get to as much, see as much as you can, and if you can't see it physically, see if you can see it online or virtually if you can.
Yes. Thank you, Angelique, for getting to my podcast. It was nice to meet you and chat with you, and thank you for accepting my invitation. And that's it.
It was
Yes.
lovely to meet you, and thank you for chatting with me.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yes. It's time to say goodbye. Bye.
Goodbye, lovely to meet you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. And that's our interview with Australian theater actress Angelique Cassimatis. And this is the Class Gomez Show. And I declare that this episode is now signing off. Thank you for listening, everyone. And have a nice day.